Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's cocktail-inspired episode, we're looking at beers imitating the distinct daiquiri. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Aloha.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us.
I hit you with that aloha because I'm wearing this sweet. I'm so fun today because we're doing cocktails. I was like, I'm going to be extra fun. Yeah. So I look like Weird Al now a bit. That's what I've got. If you're watching the video, I've got my Weird Al vibes on. So yeah, I just chose to go with aloha for my intro. I've not done that before. Felt like I changed up a bit. Hilariously though, the origin of daiquiris is not Hawaii. So so don't be fooled by the fact that I've said aloha in the intro. They're not Hawaiian.
It's just
not Hawaiian in origin.
Tropical in its nature.
It is indeed.
Makes you think that you want to be on a tropical island.
It's fun shirt. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's all about fun. So what we have today is, as Joe said in the intro, daiquiris. So obviously we did the wine episode, and like for a while we kind of tossed it around that we wanted to do we thought we'd do cocktails. We thought maybe we'll do like one episode covering like different cocktails, but what we found is, especially kind of getting ready for the summer, there was like so many of different cocktail inspired beers being released, especially like sour beers tend to do really well.
Yeah,
with,
I was going to say
cocktails.
This later in the episode. I think a sour base kind of lends itself really well to a cocktail inspired beer, I think.
And obviously we've mentioned it on other episodes, like the Froze, however you want to say it, episode that came out probably not too long ago. We had one that from Fallen Acorn that sort of was like giving us Mai Tai vibes.
Mai Tai vibes, really.
So
good.
We kind of thought there's so many that are specifically called strawberry daiquiri at the moment, or clearly have similar taste and ingredients, that we were like, fuck it, we're doing strawberry daiquiri specifically as our first one.
And I think a little bit this might have been inspired by one of the beers that we will get to in this episode, because there's some special stuff about it that we'll talk about when we get there.
It'll make sense
when we get there. Join us on the journey first.
Yes. So just as a base layer, just to say, daiquiris as a whole, it covers a family of cocktails where the main ingredients are rum, citrus juice, and sugar, or some type of sweetener. It could be a simple syrup, but it's some type of sugar. And like I said, today it's strawberry in particular, but that is not, when you say daiquiri, there's a lot of different variety of daiquiris. That is just the family of, and it's not mutually exclusive to say I want a daiquiri and it just happened. I think some people might think you just go, I would like a daiquiri, and it's just one specific drink. Like, no, we'll get to it, but there's quite a lot of variety behind it.
Like a martini. Like if you want like a dirty or a dry martini, that's very different from like a creamy espresso martini.
And then you've got like cosmopolitans and apple martini, all the different varieties and different flavors, and there might be some like basic ones, or the main ones, as we would say, but then it sort of has developed over the years, and there's so many different like fruit varieties, and I've seen like watermelon daiquiri, and then there's like frozen or non-frozen daiquiri. So it's just like, it's quite varied, which you'll probably see as we sort of discuss things today. And I kind of looked into it high level, and it was like alcohol percentage, I just thought it was worth pointing out, of like, obviously that depends on how much alcohol you actually use, but like obviously something that you might not think about as well is it also depends on the amount of ice you're using if you're making a frozen one, for example, because the water you put in it compared to the ratio of alcohol and everything else can impact that. So if you do it without ice, it's probably going to be a little bit more boozy than if you put a whole bunch of ice in, which then sort of waters down, so to speak. It's like when people have like whiskey and water because they're watering down their whiskey, which some people would say is a crime, but I think with daiquiris it kind of works when you do ice and that element to it. So I thought I'd just say that from the start because it's just a bit something you don't necessarily think of. So I don't know which ones you've got, Joe. We thought we'd start with canned cocktails.
So yeah, I've got
because it's classy. We are classy.
We're classy. Oh, I think we've got the same one.
Yeah.
I've got an all shook up strawberry daiquiri ready to drink premium cocktail. So like, just gonna point this out. This is in a little teeny white can with lovely little straws on it. It's only 4%
straws, aren't they?
Only 4% alcohol, and it is 250 ml. How do they not
it's made for train drinking, isn't it?
Yeah, but like, how do they get away with being so cute on their can? Like, how's the Portman group like not being like, that looks like it's aimed at children?
Because it doesn't say like strawberry laces daiquiri or something like that. If you start putting candy on it, they're like, oh no. But no, I mean, that's a valid point. That is interesting. But so I've got that one as well.
You've got that one as well. I'm like, have you got the pineapple one?
I've also got, speaking of the fact that I started going, it didn't originate in Hawaii. There's and I just note that I did say there's lots of variety of daiquiri. Yes. This one is called a Hawaiian daiquiri, and it's made with pineapple, and it has the same cute little design.
Right, and I was going to say that one's blue with little
adorable pineapples.
I feel like I was going to say, when I was looking at them, like, this all shook up range seemed to have these little pretty cans, adorable. And I was just like,
very kawaii.
And they were like right on the end of the aisle as well, like not high up, like the kids could get to. Obviously they're not going to be allowed to buy them, but you know how I do wonder how like they're getting away with selling that branding.
Interesting. I mean, they're 4%. Maybe they were like, that's kid friendly.
Maybe they need
just kidding, joking.
Maybe if they stuck a bear on it or something, then they'd get
or like had a cutier name than just
strawberry daiquiri.
Fill in the blank daiquiri or something. I got one of both because I thought it'd be interesting to try them both, because obviously we're covering strawberry daiquiris. I thought it'd be really interesting to try a pineapple daiquiri, because when I've had daiquiris, they've normally been more towards the strawberry or berry. I've not really had myself one that's like pineapple, but I love pineapple, so I thought I would give it a go. So,
and I think the ones I've always had, I'll be interested to try this and see how it comes out when we pour it, because I think whenever I've had them, they've always kind of had a bit of blended actual fruit in them, or like fruit.
It could be fruity pulp.
Fruity pulp in them. That's kind of what I've had. So I'm interested to open this. Should we?
Let's crack it open.
One of these open.
Fun little look at that. If you're looking at it,
I've got one of my little fun tasting glasses.
My glass really isn't fun. It just has a bit of like rainbowy colours on it. So I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm super fun today. I thought while we're pouring this, let's just list out sort of standard ingredients in a strawberry daiquiri. So pretty much it's obviously strawberries. So you can use some ingredients, some recipes.
Sorry, I'm going to have to cut in there because I just started trying to pour it like a beer and wondered why there was no head. That's habit, people.
I love that. To be fair, I unconsciously...
No head? Did you tilt it?
Unconsciously...
tilted it to 45-degree angle, tried to run it down the side of the glass, and I'm like, this is not a beer, Joanne.
But I didn't stop there. I didn't stop and go, oh, there's no head to it. I just kind of instinctively just kept pouring.
And I was like, oh, there's no head. And I'm like, oh, it's not supposed to have one. It smells lovely.
It does smell. It's really sweet smelling lovely. And there is definitely,
there's a little bit of
bits in there.
Yeah, it's thinner than I like. But I think I've often had, when I've had daiquiris, like it's been out in the tropics, like when I was on cruise ships, like properly out there, and they're frozen, or they've got some of that proper like fruit pulp in them. Like, I don't think I've ever had one out of a can.
You don't have enough train drinks, I think.
No, I don't think I do have enough train drinks. I think you're right.
You need some train tinnies or something. Live your best life, Joanne.
I'm not living the train tinny life.
This is how you get the Minister of Fun award. You get train tinnies. I mean, normally I go to beer now, but usually it's like a tinny or something. It's very sweet though. I think it smells like what you get those. No, so I've never really had strawberry laces.
You've never had strawberry laces? Oh my god, how have you not told me this? Because strawberry laces are some of my favorite things ever.
Twizzlers?
No, they're not like Twizzlers. They're much more flavorful than Twizzlers.
But like, this smells similar to like a pull and peel Twizzler. sort of like a strawberry, because those are strawberry specific. Normal Twizzlers are cherry, and they're gross because they're hard and they're not nice and chewy.
No, whereas Twizzlers, I always found Twizzlers a bit not waxy, but do you know what I mean?
You need to have pull and peels.
Oh, okay, I've never had those ones.
Pull and peels, where it's I'll get some pull and peels, don't worry.
And the next time we're together, I'm going to bring you some proper strawberry laces.
Okay, sounds good.
Co-op ones are the best ones, by the way. I've had lots of different strawberry laces throughout my life.
Variety.
And as a connoisseur of strawberry laces, co-op ones are the best.
But I think it smells like almost like a frozen ice lolly.
Yes.
Which doesn't help. It doesn't help the whole like not for children thing that it smells like. And actually I just had a sip. It doesn't taste like 4% alcohol. It tastes, and maybe I'm just judging it based on like what a 4% beer would probably taste like. It tastes like fruit punch.
Yeah. It tastes like a melted ice lolly.
Yeah, or like either that, or it does taste like a bit of like Kool-Aid, which a lot of people over here probably won't know, but it is a bit more like Kool-Aid-y, that type of thing, or even I guess like a really strong I'm drawing a blank on the name. What is the stuff that you put in
squash?
Yeah, squash. Yeah, it's like a really strong strawberry squash. But yeah, I mean basically the ingredients I was gonna say before we started pissing ourselves about the fact that we're like, cool, it's recorded like a beer. So basically it's obviously strawberries and a strawberry daiquiri, but obviously you can do it in numerous ways. Some recipes say they want it to be frozen strawberries. So if you're making a frozen daiquiri, for example, frozen strawberries can actually be better, especially I think if you want like the higher, if you kind of want to go for a little bit more higher alcohol, you probably want to use like frozen strawberries in the sense of like it's not going to melt the same way ice is going to melt. So that's like kind of a top tip. If you're going to use ice somewhere, just use a frozen version of the fruit. I don't know if that sort of changes the consistency a bit and might make it a bit thicker as well.
I'm going to jump in there and say that when I've been brewing fruit beers, I've done this, and I read about this and was like, oh, I'm going to try this. You can, rather than using like fresh fruit or that like puree in a like that comes in the bags and stuff, if you freeze your fruit and then defrost it and then use it, that actually kind of like splits the fruit and gets more juice out of it.
Oh wow, interesting.
So that might also help with a frozen strawberry. You're getting a bit more of the juice out of it, maybe, yeah.
Well, top tip for if you brew beer and you use fruit in your beer, that's quite freeze interesting.
Them, and then because where it gets the water freezes inside, and then it it contracts or expands. Not sciencey, like whichever way the ice
that's why I was like
go.
I'm spouting stuff here, and I'm just like frozen stuff, and then I'm like, I guess it about this.
Like I'm talking about this off the top of my head now, not planned at all, but like it then helps you get more juice out of the fruit by doing it that way. And like I have found that like I've frozen cherries and raspberries and then defrosted them and then pureed them and put them straight into the beer, and you get a lot of nice flavor out of that.
I mean, just naturally, just thinking about it, like it's going to make it less watery having the frozen. I mean, there's still going to be like some level of water in it if you chuck in frozen strawberries into a blender when you're making your daiquiris, but it's going to help like kind of reduce how much that you have to use of ice to still give it that frozen texture. And I would hazard a guess that it would make it a little bit thicker than if you were using ice as well, to be honest. But I mean, they say like you can use fresh strawberries as well, or fresh strawberries for a garnish, or like there's so many different ways that it depends on the recipe whether you use fresh, frozen, or both. Obviously, if you're doing frozen, you might need ice as well. Again, depends on your recipe and the method you use. Also rum, because it's, as we said at the beginning, a daiquiri is the cocktail family of the rum spirit. So yeah, you want to use rum. And when I looked at a whole bunch of different recipes when I put together this list of like the main things that are very common in everything. So some of them specified white rum in particular, some it just said rum, some it was like, I saw a few that was like dark rum, but that was like a very specialist like niche recipe. It tended to be that white rum was the more common, and it sounded, from what I read, mixologists can come on and correct me, but it sounded like white rum was the better option because it gave you a bit sweeter of a taste. So if you wanted something sweeter, it was kind of like the white rum option. Darker rum can sort of overpower the lighter flavors, which includes the strawberry in that. So if you did want something a bit more rich, and you know, if you wanted spicy, you'd use a spiced rum, for example. So it is that level of, it all depends on what you want to dictates what type of rum you want to use, but white rum seem to be the most common. And then the second to last ingredient is sugar. So again, it depends on the recipe. It's either sugar or simple syrup. So simple syrup's really, really easy to make. I think it's like literally just boiling water into sugar. It's just the ratio of how you do it, but dead easy to make. But again, some of them that tend to be more traditional, it's like they want you to use actual like cane sugar or like very specific sugar cane, like it has to be a particular one. I mean, you don't have to, but that just tends to be the more like interesting, like fancy what we'd probably deem as like the fancier ones that you wouldn't just necessarily have everything to hand to whip up at home. And then you've got lime or lime juice. And then I noticed like there's a few rogue recipes that mentioned like adding lemon or lemonade. One of them said adding a mint sprig. I was like, I've never had mint in a strawberry daiquiri before.
I suppose if you want like a little bit of green and you haven't got a fresh strawberry with the little top on it.
Yeah, but I suppose
mint and strawberry. Mint and strawberry go together though, don't they?
They do, but I would think of that more as like I wouldn't picture the mint taste coming from my strawberry daiquiri.
Yeah, mint's more a mojito.
Yeah, I'd think more of like a mojito with a twist. Maybe would have strawberry in it, or making something like, I don't know, like Pimm's or like something like that. I could see like putting a mint sprig in, but like a daiquiri just felt a bit wrong, and the lemon element to it just felt a bit wrong. But it was really interesting. There's lots of different ways that you can do it. Really, how often do you sit and drink cocktails in general? Like, do you tend to enjoy cocktails? Or
I don't really drink cocktails anymore because, you know, listeners who may be of a similar age to me may find that their hangovers spirits are not particularly pleasant. So yeah, I don't really drink cocktails anymore. I'm just all about beer.
I'm really scared that one day, because I don't get
one day you're gonna get a hangover.
But everyone says like,
and I'm gonna be there.
Always say you're gonna be there.
Me and Rick in your face. Me and Rick are gonna stand there and we're gonna laugh at you.
Genuinely, I think would really take a lot of joy in that.
Yeah, because, I think you would. I would too.
Literally coming home from like nights out or whatever else the next morning, he's like, "How are you?" I was like, "Good to go, Captain." And he's like, "Fuck." No. Your life, like how that's interesting. It's the spirits do, because I think I think if I do feel somewhat, even like, I wouldn't call it a full-blown hangover, but if I am feeling like less than 100% the next day, if I'm feeling a little bit more sensitive, it's usually because it's like I've either mixed a lot of stuff, including wine. It tends to be that wine is what does it for me. Yeah, but not massively. It's just like a bit of red wine if I've been having like a few different types of drink, like spirit and then beer, and then we're throwing, you know, we have prosecco and then we're throwing in some red wine to it.
You're going to like the parties, like what are you doing?
Yeah, my in-laws are great. They're really great party throwers. They are really great party throwers. Like that could just be literally, that could just be for like a Sunday dinner. It's like we start off on prosecco, I have some beer, and then at the end of the night it's red wine time, baby.
That's a party.
It's a party. This is fun. We're all about fun. We're Hawaiian
minister of fun over there.
Minister of fun. Yeah, my in-laws ministers of fun. But yeah, I mean, have you had any like interesting daiquiris? Like anything that you can think of as like the most out there one? Because I think my experience has all pretty much been strawberry.
Not daiquiris. I think they've all been strawberry. I've had some interesting mojitos, but that's for another day. I used to get a really good pineapple mojito. I've
never even heard that. That's amazing.
One of my cruise ships had a mojito bar.
Like they were like, cool, you come here specifically for mojitos.
And they had a mojito menu. And
like, excuse
the pineapple one was the best.
Can I please get a daiquiri? And they're like, no.
I mean, they'd have got you one.
Mojito.
Like, that was
this is the mojito bar.
That was the mojito bar. Yeah.
I love that. Bit of quick history while we finish up the rest of the drink, really. So Pretty much. It said that it was created around like the 1900s by an American mining engineer named Jennings Cox.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like this is a American Caribbean, like that way in the world kind of drink.
It is indeed. So basically, like what they can document it back to specifically was a cocktail recipe card signed by Jennings Cox in 1896. So it was named after a Cuban town. So there you go, Cuba, a Cuban town called Daiquiri. I don't know if it's Daiquiri or Daiquiri, but I call it Daiquiri, so that's what I'm sticking to.
Yeah.
And that's where he was basically living and working after the Spanish-American War. So yeah, I think he was there like scoping mining prospects or something like that. So yeah, I think there's numerous ways that they say it could have been he created this drink to help combat fever. And then there's another story that's he just ran out of a particular spirit and therefore he moved on to rum-based drinks. And obviously like sugarcane, rum, citruses, like all of that element of it obviously is quite big in Cuba and Latin America in that area. So it was just something that apparently he created. We don't know for sure 100%. We only know because that recipe card. It was then brought to the US in 1909 by Admiral Lucius W. Johnson, who was a US naval officer who was visiting Cox. Basically, he fell in love with it, and then he brought it back to the US and introduced it to the Army and Navy Club in Washington, D.C. And it did become popular in the 40s in the US. So there's a few different things I've read, and it's like there's nothing historically being able to point towards one or the other. But one story is that it was popular because of US wartime rationing. So whiskey, vodka, other spirits like that became very rare. And then President Roosevelt made a policy called the Good Neighbor Policy, which opened up trade and travel within the Latin American area of Cuba, the Caribbean, all that, where, as we just said, rum is definitely a lot more of the popular spirit there. So it made that a lot more easily attainable than the other spirits that they were getting or not getting because of the rationing. So that was one way. And then the other way they've suggested is that it was just because there was in the 40s and 50s, there was in the US anyways, there was just this fascination with tropical and exotic climates and specifically, I think you can look back to old movies and stuff. There is this love and fascination with like Cuba, and I mean like Guys and Dolls, I think they go to Cuba, they go to Havana, and then there's all these different sort of ties of like that was what was really interesting culture to them at that time. So it was just that this was a drink that they could really easily drink by the beach or the pool. So like one is very like, oh wow, that economics and like government and like look at that, and then the other is just like, yeah, it was just pop culture. So I kind of actually really like the pop culture thing of like, I like the idea that there was no big thing around it. They were just like, cool, Havana seems neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like, oh, those drinks seem cool. So yeah, I thought I would share that brief history. And I mean, I don't really know, like I wouldn't consider daiquiris really. I think they're quite big in the US. I say big in the US, quote unquote, as in like it is one of those main cocktails you'll get in like hot temperature places, or when you go on holiday, like that is the summer drink, and it's not but it's like that, and pina colada and other things that you can have frozen, and it is more fruity and fun. I don't feel like you get daiquiris that much over here, do you?
No, I don't think so. I definitely think they're a that way in the world thing.
I think you can get like, if you go into certain places, they're like, oh, picture of cocktails, and there'll be like some drink that's like similar to it. But
it's one of those, it's one of those things that it's now probably here because people have traveled, and you know, it's a cocktail. So it's
exotic, it's fun, it's interesting.
But it's like if you are like a bit of a connoisseur of daiquiri, I bet you can't get a good one over here.
It's like how my dad feels about certain like the martini.
You cannot get a good margarita in the UK.
No, my dad, when it comes to martinis, he's like, why can't I just get an olive in my martini? Why are you trying to put lemon twist martini? And I'm like, I don't know, Dad, it's just how they make them. Like give me a break. I am not in control of all these bars.
No, like I love me a proper like Mexican margarita.
I love strawberry margaritas because strawberry is one of my favorite fruits. So
like a proper one with like, you know, salt rim.
I need sugar rim.
No, I want salt rim, like the good tequila.
Like, that's it. It's like
Jose and Mia buds.
This is the thing. It's like,
I'm not a Patron girl. I'm like me and Jose.
I feel like we need to save the tequila discussion for a margarita episode. But when it comes to tequila, mezcal, all that, like you can't go for cheap.
Oh no.
It needs to be expensive or you will feel like shit the next day. It's like, oh, sorry, do you want to feel like shit? Yeah, buy this like £6 bottle of like no name tequila. Yes, please. Like, please do that. They were doing tequila shots at somewhere I was at recently. And I was like, I don't even know what tequila they're serving. And I'm not going to blindly say, oh no, yes to a tequila. Like if I don't know that, I'm not a big shot person anyways, like that's where my fun goes downhill. I'm not a massive shot person.
Did shots in uni, like I suppose I did shots on cruises as well. That was
I do shots.
Years ago.
I'm not saying I'm too old for shots. What I'm saying is I've just never been a shot person.
Right.
It's only really if someone's like, we're doing shots, and I'm like, no, and they're like Jaeger bombs. They're like, we're doing Jaeger bombs, and you're like, oh no, and then they're like, no, I've got them, and you're like, okay, bring them on. Like someone's like, we're doing shots, and you go, no, and they're like, but we've got one, and they present it with you, and you're like, well, you presented me a shot, I've got to do the shot. But I was like, if I don't know,
you realize that this is your choice, and you don't ever have to do anything.
Yeah, but something in
listeners, you never have to do anything that you don't want to. Just put it out there.
No means no, but also if someone does bring me a shot, I'm like, it's someone I know. Don't like strangers bring me shots. People I know are like, just here, we're doing shots. I'm like, all right, I say I don't do shots. I literally did a shot on Saturday.
You did a shot on the weekend. I said no and you did one.
Joe said no and I was like, I don't really want to.
I was like, no, thank you.
I even picked something that we were like, we don't even know what it is. Let's just go for that bottle. It looks fun.
Oh God.
And then I think it was
you were at like
rum.
that point in the evening, to be fair.
To be fair, I was just like, oh, let's do it. Sure. I'm just a person that says yes to things as well. So when someone's like, do you want to do this? I'm like, okay. I would have done it regardless of the point in the night, because I would have been like, sure, fine. But I don't always enjoy it.
Then you don't have to do it.
I know. Something in my brain just goes, just say yes.
Oh dear.
No means no, guys.
No means no. Please don't do things that you don't want to do, dear listeners.
Anyways, I'm all out of tinny.
I'm saving mine to try it against the beers.
Oh, I didn't.
That's fine.
I'm out.
It's fine.
I'll remember.
Right, should we crack open one of these beers then, seeing as you've drunk all of your daiquiri?
We shall.
We're starting with paying in naivety. Paying in
naivety.
It is paying. Phantom versus Fallen Acorn.
Yep, it's a strawberry daiquiri sour, people.
Two of our faves.
Yeah, and I have to say, I feel like Phantom I was having a conversation with a group of friends about somebody mentioned something about Phantom, and they were like, they do really good like hazies and you know, just IPAs and pales in general. I was like, yes, they do. But I actually think over the last few years, the last year at least, they have been absolutely crushing it when it comes to sours.
Yeah,
like they do a lot of just high quality, like just really good flavorful sours that are just really drinkable and really enjoyable. So when I see that they've done a new sour, I'm like, I want to try it. And this label is a bit grim, but also I love it.
It really is. It's like,
I love it.
It's strawberries. Some of them are diving into a blender and look quite happy about it.
And some of them are falling out of the blender,
trying to escape. Up. Some of them are dead. And there's one at the bottom. There's like a cannibal one. There's a cannibal strawberry. He's drinking his dead friends.
Just spotted that. That's so grim. What? I actually really love this label though.
This is
and inside the blender it says paying in naivety in what looks like bloody writing, but it's strawberry juice. So
great.
The other one's having a think. I like the one that's having
this one's down here is like, what's going on here?
Shall I not?
What's going on there?
7.5%.
Oh,
this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, right, a little bit.
Yeah, she's foamy. Oh, it smells exactly the same as the drink.
Yeah, but just a bit more acidic, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely more lime.
A little bit more.
This.
I think there's more acidity to it. Yeah, more lime. It does have like so I'd say slightly less red, but it still is like a pinky.
Mine's like strawberry juice color.
Yeah, it has that pink tinge to it. And actually poured with a surprising more amount of head than I expected.
It's got a nice foamy white head on it. I'm pleased with that.
I would say definitely like heavy lime notes.
Lots of lime. I can smell the wheat,
the acidity to it, and yeah, you do get this like strawberry in there.
The strawberry's quite light in the back though, but it's like fresh strawberry.
But it feels like it balances it out.
Yeah.
It feels like it balances out, so it's not like just all lime.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's that sweetness from the strawberries in the back there.
It's really easy.
Tart.
Yeah, but it's really, I think it's really easy drinking.
Yeah.
It's when the tartness hits, it's pretty immediately tart. But I would say not in a way that made me involuntarily do like a face.
No, it's not like cheek puckering.
No, but it wasn't like sometimes when you get a sour, but it's more when you have a fruity sour, sometimes it loses the punch and that sharpness, and it can just be like more fruit with like a little bit of acidity to it.
Yeah.
Which are sometimes like really lovely, but it's not great entry level for people that don't necessarily know if they like sours. But this is one that I think is sessionable, but I do think that if you're not keen on that more tart, sharp taste, you might be like, oh, I don't like it. It's not for me.
Yeah, because I would say if you were making this as an actual cocktail, it's got like a bit of strawberry juice in it, and then it's got a big chunk of lime juice in it.
Yeah.
Like the lime is definitely living its best life in this beer.
It is. So it's Pilsner malt and wheat. Adjunct strawberry, raspberry, Voss yeast. Yeah. I'm surprised there's no lime in it.
Does it say there's no lime in it?
No,
I reckon there's lime in it. It reckons there's raspberry.
Yeah, ingredients: barley, wheat, strawberry, raspberry, yeast.
Where's the lime coming from then?
I don't know, but it's not just me. Like, it's not just me. It's like immediately like, oh,
there's
lime.
Loads of lime.
Maybe it's just how it's made, like the way it's made brings out that element of it.
Maybe. I don't know, but it's
nice.
It
makes it even more interesting, I think.
But I reckon if you gave that to a cocktail person, they would love it.
I think so as well. Not so much this one, but I do think sometimes with sours as well, like the fruitier sours, so like some other strawberry daiquiri ones. If you're actually maybe this one, depending on the cider you drink, if you're a cider drinker as well, because of that, like the way the acidity hits, I think if you like certain ciders, like if you go to the store and you get the berry ciders or something like that, like you might actually enjoy this as well. They have strawberry and lime cider, and it's like, I feel like if you like the strawberry and lime cider, you actually might like this.
If you're watching the video and you just saw my face, I just drank a bit of the canned strawberry daiquiri and then drank the beer, and it took all the sweetness out of it, and I was like, oh,
that's it. So I don't find this particularly sweet. Sharp. It's not particularly sweet, is it?
I enjoy it. Like, I really like it, but the canned daiquiri is so much sweeter than this.
I think it's a really good beer interpretation of it, because I feel like it nails the whole lime, yes. Strawberries, yes. I mean, I wouldn't say there's like rum in it, but I feel like you could use it to make quite a good beer cocktail.
Yeah,
if you wanted to make
rum in it.
Exactly. If you wanted to make a beer cocktail of the daiquiri, I feel like you could add a bit of rum to it, and that would be quite interesting. I don't think it's massively sweet, but I don't think
that's not a detriment to it.
I don't think it's a detriment to it because I feel like it's all really well balanced. So I feel like actually it is quite a good, especially because of how prominent like the lime and the fruitiness is to it and the balance they have. It makes a really good interpretation of it, in my opinion. So
yeah, I like it a lot. If you can still find this,
they
still got it. It's lovely.
They had some. Its best before date is December. I don't remember how long ago it came out, if I'm honest, but I know that they still had some at the Hive when I grabbed you one a few weeks ago. I think I saw it there the other day. That being said, I don't know, but I'm sure you could probably get it somewhere. I doubt it's fully sold out. But if you like strawberry daiquiris, or you know someone that likes strawberry and lime ciders, or anything of that nature, I think it's worth a try.
Give it a go. Definitely.
So some quick historical fun facts while I'm
I love on this. Fun fact.
Some of them are fun. Some of them are just historic. I don't know. I thought I'd just throw some facts your way.
Yeah.
So in addition to the town of Daiquiri, where we said obviously that's what it was named after in Cuba, there's also a Daiquiri beach and an iron mine that's called Daiquiri. It's near Santiago de Cuba. So I thought that was interesting. We just missed it.
Oh.
July 19th, National Daiquiri Day.
Boo.
I wish that I had the foresight, because I had the beer. I wish I had the foresight to go, hey guys, Daiquiri Day.
Right.
Totally didn't realise. So
missed that one.
Next year, Daiquiri Day all the way. The daiquiri was one of the, not specifically strawberry, but the daiquiri was one of the favourite drinks of the writer Ernest Hemingway, who was living in Cuba at the time that he discovered it in its frozen form. Very, very specific to call that out. And was also one of the favourites of US President John F. Kennedy.
This is like that's like, don't you feel like that's that kind of era? Like, like
completely.
So, you know, yeah, you can see JFK and Jackie sitting there with a daiquiri.
It's like, bring the daiquiris out.
Yeah.
White House staff.
Right.
Daiquiris. No, 100%. I just completely can see that. What I thought was really, really interesting as well is, obviously I said there's lots of variations of the daiquiri. There was like watermelon daiquiris. There's obviously, I've got this pineapple daiquiri situation, the Hawaiian daiquiri, and you can have frozen, non-frozen. But the variation that is called the Hemingway daiquiri, or it's also called the Papa Double.
Okay.
And it's called the Papa Double because Hemingway was affectionately known as the Papa, and he drank his daiquiris by the double. And he had a record of 16 doubles in one sitting.
Right.
So the Hemingway daiquiri is made with 2 half jiggers of white rum, juice of 2 limes, half a grapefruit, 6 drops of maraschino liqueur, and no sugar. Zero sugar.
Hardcore.
And it was served frozen.
Wow.
So I thought that was actually really, like, just a really interesting fact about that. I'm sure if you are a fan of Hemingway's, you probably know that already, but that specifically, the fact that he had a record of 16 doubles in one sitting, mental. So there's 5 versions of the classic daiquiri. So the first one, which is the Daiquiri Classico, is rum, lime, and sugar. Then you have number 2, rum, orange, curacao, and orange juice. Then you got daiquiri number 3, rum, lime, maraschino liqueur, grapefruit, and sugar. Then you have daiquiri number 4, which is rum, lime, sugar, maraschino liqueur. Sounds like there's a lot of them, like some variations of very similar things.
It's maraschino's cherry, right?
Yes, it is indeed. I don't think I've ever had maraschino liqueur. But number 5 is rum, lime, grenadine, and maraschino liqueur and sugar. So there's all, it's like they're all this incestuous.
Cherry as well.
Grenadine is cherry, yes, because did you guys have Shirley Temples over here as drinks? Because I remember having, like, you had a Shirley Temple, or you'd have like a virgin Shirley Temple, which was just like literally Sprite and grenadine, no alcohol in it.
Yeah, I think we do now because we have like American diners.
I feel like, bring back the Shirley Temple. I haven't seen one of those since oh god, this makes it sound bad. When I was a kid, it's like that used to be like, you'd go to a function, like a wedding or something.
Oh yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna get a Shirley Temple, but really it was just like a virgin Shirley Temple, which was just literally the Sprite and the grenadine, but it would make you feel like you were having a cocktail and stuff.
It sounds like cherry soda stream.
Oh no, I feel like grenadine like hits different
I'm sure it
compared
does,
to
but that's probably what we had over here. Or we just had
maybe.
Coke.
Oh, maybe. Oh, I don't know. I feel like my childhood would be weird if I didn't have Shirley Temples, or
Oh,
I guess normal Shirley Temples. I think there's the
yeah.
dirty Shirley, which is the alcohol version. But
Right.
yeah, then my last fact is in 1938, it appeared in a French mixology book by Jean Lupor called Cocktails. And in 1948, it was highlighted as one of the 6 basic cocktails by David A. Embry in The Fine Art of Mixing Cocktails.
Oh.
So you can see it's been around for so long. And it's just so interesting that it was like created around just before the 1900s. And it's been mentioned in France in the 30s. I think it was also featured in some fiction stories and stuff in France in the 20s as well. So it's like mentioned in France in the 20s and 30s, and then it became popular in the US in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and just seems like it has spanned such a wide range of time before it really got to be like proper popular.
And I suppose some of it could have come over because after those times you've kind of had the world wars, haven't you, where the troops are going around, so they may have taken those sort of recipes back and forth with them.
That makes sense as well, because obviously if they're saying that kind of how it came to the US was spread by
don't be quoting me on that, I could be just making that up, but that feels like
facts.
It might be
factual.
That feels like that seems like a natural progression, that if like, you know, international troops have gone somewhere and they've taken their drinks with them, but they've taken other bits back, you know, that's completely how things happen, isn't it?
Yeah,
exchange of ideas,
exchange of recipes,
yeah,
cocktail recipes. Or like one of the Navy officers went somewhere one day and they're like, we're all out of gin,
right,
or I don't know, something whiskey, there's no whiskey
where's
left,
the
like
rum?
What do you have? And they're like, rum. And they're like, I can do this. Like, say no more, hold my drink, I've got this. And then voila, you've got daiquiri.
So our next beer, this is our exciting one. Very excited about this. So our next one is She's Fruity from Lost Industry, that we might have brewed with them when we were up in Sheffield for International Women's Day. It might have our name on the can, which we're excited about.
That was pretty cool.
We didn't even know that was going to be on there. So this one's slightly different in that it is a lime and berry sour. So how we did this was everyone that was taking part had to bring a punnet of their favorite fruit, and it pretty much ended up being all berries, didn't it? And I brought raspberries,
I brought strawberries,
and Tori brought strawberries, so there's some strawberries in there. But what I really liked about this is, so, you know, we talk about the lime element being in it, and Helen, who is from Lost Industry, said that the way that when they make their daiquiri beers, because they've made other daiquiri beers as well, and they are very good. If you find them, go and get some. When they're doing the mash, they actually put limes in the mash, and they found that keeps that lime note in the beer longer by adding the lime in at the mash point. I thought that was really interesting, because I wouldn't have thought about that if I was brewing one.
No, they also they make like, just I think like one thing that they do specifically like really well as well is their sours. Like I feel like a lot of what they do is just really, really good sours.
They do a mojito sour that's really
but
good.
They are really hard to find if you're not local to
because they're quite little.
So
I get them down here because Boutiliers have quite a good partnership and relationship with them, so they often do collaborations and get their beers in down here. So that's how I've managed to get them. And a place that I can usually get Lost Industry beers is Hoptimism online. You can usually get them from there.
That's the thing. And I think if you do want to see them, just like any brewery, if you do want to see a particular brewery in your local establishments, like reach out to the people that you know that run those establishments or work there, and ask for it.
Yeah, and just ask for it.
So places that are on the smaller scale side comparatively, if they're being asked for somewhere else, that will help them get more business, and then they can grow and become even more widely distributed. So really helps everyone out just to ask for them. But yeah, this one was one it was interesting trying to get cans of this.
Oh, it was.
I'll let you explain it while we crack it
yours
open.
already, so yes. So we've been waiting for it to come out. We hadn't heard anything, and then we were just like, "Is it coming out? Is it not? Did something happen?" And then
I think we were genuinely worried that we were like, "Oh my god, what if something happened to it?"
Yeah, we thought something might have happened to it, and then like it appeared on their Instagram, I think, and I was like, oh my god, it's available, because it was like, it's like, here it is, and it was a picture of the can. I was like, oh my god, it's available. So I went searching, and I found that Craft and Berry, which is a bottle shop that's in Sheffield, in the Sheffield area, had some. And I said to Tori, I was like, oh my god, it's ready, like they've got it, let's order some. And while I was working out if we needed to order something else, I had mine in my basket that I wanted. While I was working out if we needed to order anything else for the podcast, Tori ordered ordered them all.
Time out. This is not even okay. Exactly, so first of all, Your Honor, I'm gonna make a stand for myself here right now, because I feel like you're doing me a bit dirty. We literally both discussed like how many specifically of this beer we were going to buy. Like, do you know how many you want? Because it's like, well, I want one for the podcast, maybe, because we'll podcast with it. I'll get one to try with. I want my family to try one. My parents are coming over, in relatively soon, so it's like I want them to be able to try some. It's like maybe my sister might want me to take one, have my parents take one back for her, because she wanted that with Brave Noise. Thought share it with my friends, and I was like, and then just get an extra that could be shared, I guess, at work or somewhere else. And I actually did share it at work. I shared it with them literally yesterday at work, and they were all like, I expected it to be a lot more like, oh, I don't know if it's not for me. If it wasn't for them, they lied about it, and they were like, it's actually, it's really nice actually, and they're like, it's really interesting, it's different to what you expect from a beer. And they thought it was really good. So I worked out, I was like, I need about 5. So you know what, I'll just go with 5. And then we were discussing, like, Joe was like, do we need anything else? I was like, I don't think so. And then I think there was like one other thing that we found that I was like, oh, that sounds good, I'll whack it.
Yeah, and I think I was chucking a couple other things in.
So I went, cool, boom, done. I was like, I'm done. That's all I want. I don't want more than this, because I'm trying to minimize my spending. Done. She says she was looking for other things for the podcast. I think you were also looking for things for your beer educate, like you were looking for your tasting stuff as well.
For my beer studies.
For your beer studies. For your beer studies. I
didn't take a long time about it. I want to point this out.
I want to point out this is the second time that I've ordered things and I've beat you to the basket, because you go, maybe I want this. I don't know.
I was waiting for a reply from you if we needed something else. And in that time, you ordered, and they all went.
Because I was like, I need to get this order in. And then she was like, oh, I'm just having a look to see what else they have. And I was like, yeah, it's cool. I know. And I told her I need this many. And I was like, this is all I want. It's fine. Check out. Then I get them. I'm like, oh, cool. So done. Like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later, I get a message that's like, so I've tried to check out and I can't, and it's not there anymore. And I was like, what? And she's like, did you get yours? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I think you got the last of them. But I was like, 5 is an oddly specific number to have.
I think they had literally been on the site for like not very long, like a couple of hours maybe.
They hadn't. So that's why I thought it was very odd that it was like specifically 5.
Anyway, Tori bought them all. So then I had to scour and try and find some more.
All right. Now, I would defend myself. I offered to give you half.
No, because I knew that you wanted them for family and things. So I didn't want to take them away from you. So I spoke, it's fine. I messaged Helen and I was like, where else is going to have some? I'll find something there. I tried a place in Gosport. They never got back to me. I tried Optimism. They weren't getting them in yet. And then magically, like, what was it, 2 days later?
Hop
Hideout had them, and I was like straight on it, ordered from Jules, done. And even Jules messaged me and was like, I'm not going to get these out to you for a couple of days. I was like, I don't care.
It doesn't matter. I just want them.
Fine. I just want them.
I
only wanted 3, and I managed to get the 3 that I wanted.
I did say, I was like, look, if you don't get them, I was like, you can have half. And I was like, I won't touch them. I won't do anything with them. I was like,
it was fine.
5 is what I worked out I would need to share with all these different people, best case scenario or worst case scenario, I guess. So I was like, I'll give you half if you need it. And I was like, if you don't hear back in a few days, you can have half of them, but then I think you got hot
and then
pies
I got them from Jules, so
but it was a palaver.
It was like, and seriously, this is what happens when you brew a beer and you like want to share it with people. Like, you have to try and get quite a few. It's not just one you're getting here, people. It's several.
I think, to be fair, I overplanned as well, because after Brave Noise, and I really liked the Brave Noise ones as well. It was really exciting, and I wanted to just share it with everyone. I was like, cool. I got a few of the Brave Noises, but then I kind of felt like, oh my God, I don't think I got enough. So this time I was like, I just want to factor for these different groups of people that I might want to share it with. So that's what happened. And I ended up with 5.
But anyway, we managed to get the beer that we brewed. What time did we get there? 7 o'clock in the morning.
Really early, but really oh my God. I think we've talked about it before. It was such a good day,
though.
They are Helen.
The hospitality.
Just Helen and her partner. So lovely.
Impeccable.
Made us tea,
coffee, bacon
barbecue
sandwiches.
Breakfast. Yeah, it was
really
good. Although we did get lost on the way there. Yeah, literally lost.
Helen said that we would. She's like, it's really difficult to find.
So really, it's like how I say, elusive has a really good name, because if their sign's not out in front, they are quite elusive, because they're just a small state. Lost Industries is
even worse.
You will get lost if you're trying to find it, because I think Google Maps didn't quite take us to where it was.
No.
It was like, it directed our driver to like
our driver,
like down the road.
Our cab driver,
our Uber.
Oh yeah.
And the poor guy, he was like asking people directions when we got there, because he didn't want to just. No. Normally, I feel like Uber drivers would just chuck you out.
Yeah,
he was really like good. Not gonna just chuck us out. He was just like,
5 stars.
Right, hang on, let's work this out. He was a bit sassy, but we was a bit
sassy, but that was fine. I mean, it wasn't a surprise that he was sassy when we were taking him into middle of fucking nowhere,
and didn't know where we were,
and didn't know where we were going. It's much, how a lot of our lovely little craft brewers are on little industrial estates in weird places, because that's somewhere where they can put brewing equipment in and make a big old mess and nobody cares. Like, this is properly deep in one of these little offshoots up country road. It was great, and we had a great time.
But it was really fun. It's like the first time that because all the other times that I say all the other times, like, it's been a massive amount of times, but like the other times that we've sort of commercially brewed for whatever reason, it's always, or seen other breweries, they've always had like the kit that has like the little door for you to dig out the mash. This was like proper,
you are getting inside,
you have to get inside of it and dig out. And I just like that, I mean, I did it because I didn't, the shoes I had a hole in it, and I didn't realize that was gonna be I didn't realize the kit was like that.
She needed to get into the mash tub.
Yeah, because we've never needed to do that before. So I didn't. And I was like, well, I've got waterproof shoes, but there was like a hole, but it's in a place that I'm like, yeah, it's fine. But obviously I can't jump in like a bunch of mash where it's going up to my ankles.
You'd like.
I hadn't bought new wellies at that point. So I was like, yeah, I just have to wear my hiking boots. I don't have wellies. My wellies are broken. This is what I have to have. And then, I didn't get to jump in it, but I wish I could, because it seemed like so cool to just be like, just jump in, dig out a bit, and then you've got to climb your way back out of it. And like, that was particularly, in my opinion, like a particularly cool thing. And I really like the fact that we all got to bring our favorite fruits, and it was like, pick your favorite fruits, bring your favorite fruit, and that'll be contributed to the big mix of fruit.
Yeah, it was good.
It tastes lovely.
It does taste lovely. I think it tastes quite similar to the other one. I think because this one's mixed berry, you've got a bit more of that, rather the other one is quite strawberry. Even though it says it's got raspberry in it, the strawberry is quite forward in it.
I think this one's still lime forward though.
Oh yeah, definitely. The lime is because they're both sours as well. The lime is definitely
it's the acidity. It's the acidity level of it. The only thing I say is I think it's maybe less. It's got the acidity levels, but I would say it's less of that like sharpness that the other one had. Whereas this one, it's more sort of like acidic lime, but not necessarily like puckering sour, if that makes sense. Like it's not, it's sharpish but not tart. In I don't know if that makes sense how I've just described it, because the way my brain's processing it, as I've had a long day.
I'm gonna try it and I'll tell you. Right, so I've just tried the Lost Industry. Now I'm going to the Phantom and Fallen Acorn.
Right. Oh yeah, hang on, let me get back to it.
Yeah, I feel like the Phantom one is sharper and the Lost Industry one's more tart.
Yeah, that's that's how I, because I just did a back and forth as well, and it does feel like the Phantom one almost makes you do more of a pucker, but I actually quite like not puckering.
Yeah.
Because it still has tart quality.
And I feel like there's more body on the Phantom and Fallen Acorn one. But I don't think that's a bad thing that the Lost Industry one has got less body. I think that makes it almost more cocktail-like.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, if we go back to our canned cocktail here, which now looks luminous pink next to my two beers.
Yes.
Like, it's not a frozen one, it's not got a lot of body to it. So I feel like in that mouthfeel sense, it's more like a cocktail that way.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, I feel like we need to normalize the fact that, like, if someone says that it's not super full bodied, or
that's not a bad thing,
have like the biggest mouthfeel in the world, like that doesn't it doesn't have to be super thick to be good or to be as expected. Like, I think there's a difference between something being like watery and just being like thinner on mouthfeel, for example, or like,
100%.
And I think sometimes you almost feel like when you say something isn't, as full bodied, like, you kind of feel like you have to be like, I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's not a bad thing. Some styles, literally, like for a sour, I kind of expect it to be on like the thinner side.
Yeah, definitely.
And when it's more full, I appreciate it because I like that. However, it's not what I'm expecting when I pick up that can, if that makes sense. So it's not a negative thing to say that.
Yeah. Well, a sour isn't necessarily driven by malt flavors, so it's going to be thinner.
Yeah.
Because you're going to use less malt, you're going to use lighter malts, so it's going to be thinner generally, unless you're whacking it full of wheat and oats, which, well, you don't really like. For a sour, you don't want a thick body. Like, that'd be weird, no?
I don't know, it depends, because I feel like they have their place, and I feel like if you're a brewery that does it well,
but like a thick body, like if it's thick with fruit, maybe, but thick just because the beer is thick
just for the sake of it kind of feels like no. But I do think there's like, I feel like Vault City, for example, are a brewery that can pull off that style and pull it off fairly well, but it's a really hard thing to pull off and have it land in the right way, where you still get the fruity flavors and like the sharp notes and the tartness. Like, it's very difficult, I think, for some breweries to pull that off, and I think there's very few that pull that off to that like high standard. But even so, like, sometimes that's not what you want, especially out of a sour. It's just, you're not expecting that, it's not what you're looking for, and it can be off-putting sometimes because you're like, oh, that's just, it's too much. I don't know. Yeah, this is like really easy drinking. I said I brought it into my co-workers and they were like, it does not taste like it doesn't taste like you'd expect from a beer, because I think they've had ones before where it's like, oh, a fruit beer or this, and in their minds it's never ended up being as robust in flavor. And with this, they were like, oh, okay, that is a bit like cocktail like. And I was like, yeah, I think it does taste quite cocktailish.
And fruit beer covers a lot of bases nowadays. Like, yeah, when you say fruit beer, everyone has kind of a different thought on what they are expecting from a fruit beer.
Because all fruit beers are very different. I like poured it and I was like, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I was like, if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
Don't say sorry. You made it. This was made with your love and care. If they don't like it, that's their problem.
Made with my love and care, but
that's
still,
them problem.
I was
not a me problem.
I was on the high ground, steering it up.
Yeah, we had to get up on the
paddling it up
truck thing so that we could reach because we're too short.
Yeah,
it was great.
It was fun though. It was such a good day.
This is a labour of our love, and
it's a labour of
name
love
on it, and I'm proud to have my name on it.
It's a labour of love, and not only that, it's it's memories of like a really good day. And the fact that it also has come out absolutely banging.
Yeah.
It's the added bonus. And I personally, I don't know about you, I feel like this one actually tastes more like a cocktail. I think this tastes more like a cocktail than the Phantom one. Like the Phantom one, you get those notes and you understand where it's come from, and you could give it to somebody.
There's still that beer likes cocktails, though, isn't there?
But there is still the beer quality to this. This, the She's Fruity, I feel like you could give that to someone. Maybe it's a little bit more sour than some cocktails, but I think the way that it could be interpreted as just like the sharpness of the lime or the citrusy bit to it, I feel like you could tell someone that this is a cocktail and they'd be like, yeah, all right.
Stick it in a fancy glass over some ice and stick an umbrella in it. You got a cocktail. It's another one of those lovely sneaky beers. You know, we love a sneaky beer.
My favorite is just you going, ha ha, that's a beer. You drink it now.
You're my beer friend now.
We're beer friends.
We're going to all the tap rooms. Let's go.
That was my favorite thing to listen back to. Ha ha, that's a beer.
What's the Mean Girls quote?
Well, getting loser, we're going to the tap rooms.
Getting loser, we're going to all the beer tap rooms. There we go. That's our next t-shirt.
Getting loser, we're going to all the tap rooms.
All the tap rooms. We're day drinking at all the breweries.
I like that t-shirt of yours.
I think this was a successful little experiment here. Don't you?
I think so as well. I didn't get to try the pineapple one though. I'm cracking this open real quick.
Just gonna crack open the pineapple one. I think let us know.
Satisfy everyone's curiosity.
While Tori's doing that, let us know what other cocktails in beer form you'd like us to have a look at. That I know I've seen mojito ones, I've seen margarita ones,
pina colada
ones. Ooh, I went to the place where pina colada was first made.
Oh, I love a pina colada. Let's be real.
Pina coladas are great.
Love a pina colada. This is, if you watch the video, I've just poured the pineapple. This is
it
what orange? I can only describe as luminous. It looks like carrot juice.
I was going to say it looks like halib orange. Like, what's going on?
She looks like,
doesn't look like pineapple. I would not say that's pineapple.
It smells like pineapple.
It smells like pineapple. Did it taste like pineapple?
Don't know. I haven't tasted it yet.
Okay, taste it.
This is why I did it. I don't know. It's weird because maybe there's just too many flavors kicking about in my mouth. I would say a bit of pineapple, but I actually would say like orange, but not. Like I feel like clementine orange, like specifically that sweet, like the more sweet orange.
Yeah. What's the ingredients on the back of the can?
Probably orange.
Does it say pineapple? I mean, I assume it does because there's
tropical drink with natural pineapple flavor and sugar syrup shaken with fruit and alcohol and white rum. That's why it's sweeter. It is quite sweet.
Yeah,
I would say it's fairly sweet. Definitely pineapple, like 100%. There's almost a bit of creaminess behind it as well, and I would say like slightly clementine orange.
Okay.
Now I want to kind of go back to this and see how sharp this is.
You're going to lose all the sweet. You're going to leave any sweetness now. That's going to be proper sharp.
Oh my god, yeah.
See, that's what I did when I did the Phantom in the can.
I'm going to do it on the Phantom one. Hang on.
I'm doing this for
science.
Yeah.
I almost kind of don't like this one because it tastes a bit like. It tastes like a flat squash or something like that. Oh god, yeah.
See, yeah,
aggressive.
So we can recommend to you if you like daiquiris, try the strawberry daiquiri from All Shook Up.
I don't know if I would recommend it,
but if you don't want a beer and you want a daiquiri, would you? No,
I don't know if I actually would. I think I'd just make a proper one because it's not like it needs that many ingredients.
But out of the two if you've got to pick a canned one, you'd go for the strawberry one.
Yeah, over the pineapple. The pineapple's just a bit too.
Don't get the pineapple one. Get the
I think they both taste like what Rick would call E numbers.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. That's why I said this. It's like strawberry laces because strawberry laces are loads of E numbers.
Literally, side note, they were selling slush puppy freeze pops at Lidl.
Yeah,
this is like right before the 40-degree weather, and I was like, I want to have those because they had a blue one, and I want the blue. I like blue raspberry. Blue is my favorite flavor, and I say blue because everyone knows that if it's blue raspberry, it tastes like blue.
Right.
So I was like, I want that. And he goes, that's disgusting. It probably tastes like E numbers. Yeah. And I was like, well, they're £1. I'm getting them. And you aren't allowed to have them. And he goes, well, I don't
disrespect. You disrespected the ice bar.
He was like, I don't like the taste of E numbers, so go ahead and have it. And I was like, well, I like all the E numbers, so you can get out and you get no E numbers.
Your fitness freak husband makes me laugh a lot.
He's like, it made me laugh when he went, I bet it just tastes like E numbers. I was like, well, no E numbers for you, sir.
For you. Fine, I'll have all the E numbers. You don't get any. I think I still recommend everyone to drink beer.
The beer is far superior. Yeah. In my opinion, the beer is far superior to the canned cocktails, but I like a good cocktail in the right time and place. Didn't love these ones. I didn't think they were terrible, but I wouldn't say that they're a little bit too sweet for me, and they taste a little bit too flat and just not great. I'd rather just make the cocktail myself, but actually both of these beers were better than
they're good. Yeah, they're good.
We didn't get around to it, but I did also, if you're looking for other ones, there is also 3 Hills strawberry daiquiri fruit sour, so definitely one to
check them out, because 3 Hills, we love 3 Hills. We love you, 3 Hills.
They make good beer, so
they do. Tori, if people want to ask you about more history tips on daiquiris, where can they get hold of you?
Google, but also
let me Google
search
that
Google,
for you.
But also I can Google it for you, I guess, if you find me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism, or I feel like I've started giving out my Gmail now, so I'll just carry on giving it out, so you can get me on Gmail now. Adventures, well, no, mine is adventuresinoptimism@gmail.com, but we also have our podcast one, which is a Women's Brew podcast at gmail.com. Joe, if people want to talk to you about brewing techniques with frozen fruit, where can people find you?
Come talk to me about frozen fruit, because I still have a tub of cherries that I haven't used yet. I just haven't had time to brew, to be fair. This year has not given me the time. But if you want to talk to me about that, you can come to my beer school, which is Love Beer Learning, and we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok and Pinterest. We are all the places. We also have a website. I keep saying we again, but it's me.
I love when you say we.
I have a website. It is lovebeerlearning.co.uk, and you can email me, lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. And of course, the podcast is on all the platforms as A Woman's Brew. So we're going to go finish these cocktails and have one of Tori's famous parties.
Party time.
So in that note,
Joe. Cheers.